Hello guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today's reading is going to be, I guess, a rundown of what's going on this month. This reading is timeless, so whenever you're watching this, it will pertain to whatever month you're coming into, alright? I know right now, as I'm recording this, it's like, I think the 6th of the month, but I still think it's like early enough to do like, I guess, a rundown of what's going on. For the pile selection, I don't think I will be doing the bell today. Instead, I'll be like showing the cards. But if you want the bell again, I guess you can leave hashtag bring the bell back in the comments. But we're just gonna do like an overview of the cards. And yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. I'll see you in your pile. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You chose, I believe it's AMMUT or AMMUT, devastation. So, contrary to whatever you are believing, it is not devastation in the way that you believe it is. And I respect you for clicking on this pile because I was hesitant on showing the actual cards because I didn't want people to have a bias in what they were going to select. You know what I mean? But I respect you for clicking on this pile and listening to the answers coming from your spirit guides without emotion. This is not devastation in the way that you think it is. In fact, this destruction energy that you are in right now is not detrimental. It's actually very beneficial for your growth, and it also pertains to your magic. Your magic is not meant to be restricted by rules or other people's philosophies and dogmas. It is meant to be yours and only yours with your rules. And I feel like your purpose here on this earth will shake a lot of things up. And that is the destruction that we are talking about. The destruction of what does not belong and the creation of what does belong. The creation of your own rules, your own magic. I feel like that's what this destruction is. It's sacred destruction. It is not in a negative light or manner. I feel like your magic is sacred in its destruction. And its intensity can only be captured through the lens of destruction. So I feel like that's kind of the overall energy of you guys, and I feel like this message is going to be a lot about your magic and a spiritual awakening that's going on. And also just creating, I feel like there's an emphasis on creating your own traditions and your own legacy. So that's the energy that I'm getting from AMMUT's energy. So, what is happening this month? What is happening this month? I also want to mention that I do look over the cards before I even start the reading. I just felt called to mention that, you know what I mean? Because some of the things I'm going to say ties into the other cards. So, I might look to see if all the cards are on the screen. Let me just go for a second. Okay, I try to turn down the glare a little bit, but granted, I don't have a light stand, so therefore the light is really close to the cards. So therefore it's going to have a glare. So just bear with that. There's really nothing I can do. And I don't really know where to get a replacement stand. I'm pretty sure that's not even like the full issue. Like I can't even explain the whole story. So just, you're going to bear with it for now. We will get better lighting situations in the future when I gain more money. But anyways. So there's a big transformation energy that's going on this month. It's an awakening. It's awakening to your magic and I guess the awakening is intense enough. It is so intense that it cannot be ignored, especially since we're seeing a lot of patterns here. You've been seeing signs, you've been seeing a lot of synchronicities, dreams, and things in nature that are reflecting this calling, and you cannot ignore it any longer. It's just something that you can't ignore. So this month, it's time to awaken to this call. It's time to submit to this call because it is at its loudest point. And it's about time that you listen to the knowledge that's coming in, and also claim your gifts. It's going to take a little bit of some bravery. I don't know if like me holding up the cards, because it does get a little bit dark. It's going to take a little bit of some bravery and courage, because when it comes down to our spiritual awakenings, it's mysterious. We don't understand the full depth of what we are awakening to. You're walking into the path blindly, but you have to be brave. You have to embrace the change in your heart, because this change is going to be very, very beneficial to your overall spirituality, but not just your spirituality. It's going to awaken you to gifts that you have that have been dormant. And it's also going to help you develop physically as a human and bring in some prosperity that is more humanly than anything as well. But you have to be brave. You have to be brave. You have to be brave, and you have to embrace the path ahead, especially since you are not aware of where it is taking you. You have to accept it. There's like something about sacred geometry. I don't know, that just came to my mind. So I don't know if that has anything of some type of significance to you guys. But you have to embrace this because it's mysterious, it's unknown, especially with like this mantis beings energy. You don't know the full depth of your path. You don't know what's next. You don't know where it's leading you, but you have to accept it because it's going to help you tap into your magic, especially since your magic is something that is very powerful but underutilized, especially because of its energy. You have to, I guess the fact that it's untamed is kind of scary. And you have to learn to work with it. And this whole entire month will teach you how to work with it. It's time to get connected with nature more. It's time to get outside because a lot of synchronicities and messages can be found in nature, especially with this whole entire patterns, okay, the whole entire patterns energy. These patterns can be found out in nature, and we see a lot of trees. So time to connect with the trees, time to connect with nature. You could be an earth sign, but also take time to meditate. Take time to connect, to root yourself to the earth and the worlds beyond us. Like, you can only get the messages that you are needing to get through being rooted, through being grounded. I feel like that's one of the messages. But you need to connect with nature and lock in with the world around you, because it's a grounding thing. You need to ground so you can take in these messages that are coming in. But it's also like, it's also a thing of knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge around you that is waiting to be seen, and you have to accept it by spending time out in nature, by embracing the knowledge. I feel like there's something else I want to say about the earth energy here. Maybe like also something about elementals and animals in general. Just connecting with those elementals and helping them, but also letting them help you. So that's something that I'm seeing. Also, there's just this very powerful green tint in my eyes, especially when I look at my reflection on my record player, like through some of the finishes that are on it. It looks really green. And I don't know if well, for one, green is a very important color in Egypt. It's fertility, it's creation. So there is an emphasis on creation magic and manifestation. I feel like some of your manifestations are coming in. But also, like I said, like earth energy, connecting with nature. And also using nature's tools as something to enhance your spell work. And I feel like that's something that you will be doing this month, enhancing your spell work with the energy of nature. And there's going to be an emphasis on time that I will talk about with the second set of cards. So let's lay them out. This is a new deck, so I don't know the meanings off the top of my head. I just got it a few days ago. So please give me, I guess, grace. Give me time. And I'm sorry for the glare. I seriously, we will fix this. It will be okay, okay? So just listen to the messages, okay? Listen to the messages. There's an emphasis on time, especially with thought energy. I feel like this time, I don't know if it's like referencing the past, because like I said, we have some meditation energy. I did emphasize meditating. There's something about reflecting, using your past experiences. Your past experiences will help you grow. The things that you've experienced in the past, fuck. Whew, let me calm down, all right? Is the things that you experienced in the past are helping you develop in the future. See, these events are all sacred. All the events that you're experiencing are happening for a reason. So you need to reflect on the synchronicities of the past, but also reflect on those hardships, because these hardships have happened to awaken you to your magic that you will be using this month. And you need to put your energy towards growing, towards a development for yourself. I feel like your energy this month should be focused on you and only you, especially since this is an awakening. Like, I hope I'm making sense with this, because there's just a lot of messages, and I feel like they're not like in a cohesive story. It's kind of like all at once, because there's just a lot to be updated on. I feel like the reason being is because there's a lot of messages that have been coming in, and you just haven't been seeing them. Either that you haven't been seeing them, or it's just kind of like you've been dancing around the calling. So meditate on the past, because the past has answers for the future. These signs, they all correlate with things that have happened in the past. And within your past, there's tools. Within the stories that you've experienced, there is tools on how you can claim your magic. And there's tools on how you can, number one, who you are, and number two, how you can develop during this awakening. I hope that makes sense. So meditate, reflect on the past. Use these struggles as well with the past, with the awakening, to help move you forward to where you need to be. And invest your energy in yourself. Invest your energy into feeding yourself, into growing yourself spiritually. Take the time this month to also invest it into projects. I feel like the more you focus, like I said, on your spiritual growth, the more prosperity you will gain physically. You have to listen to the call before you can gain the rewards. So focus on that. I feel like there's some things I highlighted in the book about this spread. Yes, creation energy. I really wonder. I feel like the creation energy is honestly just a reflection of your awakening. Like you're creating a new you. You're coming into the new you. Also, there's like a soundtrack that I'm hearing in my head. It's from Stranger Things. It's the one episode where Joyce had the lights and she was communicating with Will in it. And there was a soundtrack that was playing in the background. I don't remember what the song is called from the soundtrack. But if you go to season 1 and you go to the episode where she's communicating with Will through the lights, you will hear that soundtrack. I feel like maybe there's an infamous, what the fuck am I saying? I'm sorry. There is an emphasis on communicating with the beings on the other side, okay? Your spirit guides. Because communicating with them can help strengthen your spiritual power. And also maybe I feel like there's something important about that episode. So I don't know if any of you guys have watched Stranger Things, but maybe you should watch that episode because there's messages within that can be beneficial to your awakening. Honestly, from a personal perspective, I recommend Stranger Things. It's a great show. That's like my comfort show. I turn it on when I'm bored. I turn it on when I'm sad. I just turn it on. I just turn it on to turn it on. You know what I mean? So I do recommend the show anyways, but I just hear that song in my head. So it's about communicating with the other side, but also about accepting the unknown, accepting what you cannot see, and just trusting the path that is slowly unfolding for you. Especially since Stranger Things has a lot to do with the darkness, with the unknown. This darkness and unknown can be beneficial for you, especially using it to your advantage to, I guess, divinely destroy. To destroy divinely. To destroy things that don't belong. To destroy, to create anew. So yeah, tend to your gifts. Tend to the gifts that are being highlighted at this current point in time. Okay, let's get into like the final cards, because I feel like we've been yapping quite a bit. We've been yapping a little bit. Yes, the initiation. You're coming into your gifts. I say this in a lot of my readings, but I just have to note, I can't explain the whole entire path that you're going down, because it is supposed to be your path. It is supposed to be your story. And so therefore, me telling you everything that's going to happen would destroy that. That wouldn't make sense. I can only guide you to accept this path and just trust what is going on. Trust the story, trust the unknown. I feel like this time of like stagnation, I feel like if a lot of you guys feel stagnated, this time of stagnation is happening because you need to awaken to the magic that's within. That magic is not traditional. It is not bound by rules. It is your own. It's chaos magic. And you need to accept that magic. You need to accept the spiritual awakening that is happening right now, because you're meant to shine. You're meant to help others with your magic. I also feel like you are meant to heal others with who you are, with your energy, with the knowledge that you will learn from this awakening that you're experiencing now this month. So overall, like, accept it. I feel like that is just what the reading is saying. Accept the awakening, accept this story, accept this path. The time, emphasis about time. I feel like the clock is ticking. It's time to accept that what's going on here, because there are things that are meant to happen this year. There are things that are meant to happen at certain amounts of time. And it's also kind of like If you've been waiting for a manifestation, if you've been waiting for something to come in, you have to experience this first so you can experience what you're trying to experience later. All right? So you can experience it at the right time. So just accept the awakening. Accept the awakening, accept the energy that is coming, accept the knowledge, and please do check out that episode of Stranger Things I was talking about. All right, not sponsored, but I'm just saying check it out because I do feel like within that show there's a lot of like spiritual knowledge that is being given despite its appearance, okay? And yeah, this is an initiate moment. This is your initiation. This is your calling. Accept the awakening. Accept the energy within the destruction energy, okay? Because destruction is misunderstood far and wide. But as a magician, I feel like there's going to be a change in stigma. There's going to be a change in the way people see this type of magic, chaos magic. Because it is about claiming your own magic. It's about creating your own systems. It's about being uncontrollable. It's about self-governing. Let me stop stuttering. It's about self-governing. Anyways, I feel like that's it for the message. I am so apologetic for any times I stutter. I talk really fast, so my apologies. And if you enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe. If you want to, you can donate a deck to me, and I will be glad to use it on this channel because the more the merrier. And I'll see you very soon. Take care. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. Today's message. What is going on this month? So the overall energy of your reading is KHNUM, resourcefulness. So there is new beginnings. I feel like this is kind of a reset moment, a reset in energy, especially if your energy was very, how do I put it? If you were having a low point recently, I feel like this is a welcoming of new, inspiring, powerful energy. Especially with this Ram energy, which is, it's intense, it's passionate. It is time to look forward to what's new. Look forward to the creation of great things this month. Look forward to renewal this month and inspiration. A lot of inspiration, especially if you've been stagnant. I feel like you guys have been kind of confused. If not confused, then it's just kind of like you've just been dealing with a lot as of recently, and this is just a refresh in energy, especially passionate energy. So a lot of creation. Just new beginnings. I feel like that's what's going on this month. New beginnings, a reset, and a lot of growth. And things will be okay. Some of you guys need to hear that things will be okay. Everything is going to be a-okay. All right. Let's get into the reading. Okay, we have 10 of Wands. Let me move this out of the way. Three of Swords. Page of Cups and the Empress. So last month was just a very stressful month, and it brought a lot of just intensity. It was very tense. It was just a lot to deal with. There were situations that still kind of probably hurt to this day, but this month there's going to be, like I said, renewal energy. There's going to be healing and just a release of the stress that has been happening. I feel like the stress needed to happen because for some of you guys, the stress was happening because whatever you were doing was just not meant to be. So the universe was like, no, okay? everything in your soul was like, no. Okay, just everything was like, no. It just was not meant to be. It was not clicking. It wasn't right. So therefore, you had to go through that stressful experience to realize it wasn't right. But then for some of you guys, this stressful experience has taught you lessons. It's taught you about what you're supposed to do. It's taught you about your purpose. And this month, you're going to be acting on your purpose, which a lot of you guys are creators, artists. If not creators and artists, then you have a lot of creation energy that's going on this month, especially with KHNUM, all right? And the Empress, that is creation. It could be a creation of a new business or some type of endeavor. It could also be investments. Some of you guys need to get into investing, if that's calling to you. But there's an intense amount of growth that is happening in renewal. And you're feeling called to act on your ideas. There's a lot of ideas coursing in your blood. And this is just the perfect time to start working towards your dreams, working towards your manifestations. This is just a perfect time to like set yourself up for growth, for success. Especially after like heartbreak and stress. Because this heartbreak and stress was meant to help you grow. It was meant to put you back on the path that you were supposed to be going down. Okay? And I feel like some of you guys will do things for the wrong reasons. Not that you're trying to do anything bad. I'm saying it'll be for someone else. Like you're doing this because you're trying to prove someone wrong. You're doing this because you want someone to be proud and you're not really appeasing yourself. So therefore the universe and your soul is not going to allow that to happen. You're meant to self-govern. You're meant to tap into your own story and focus on your own gifts. Doing someone. Let me calm down. Doing something for someone else is not beneficial to your spiritual growth, nor is it beneficial to your beliefs. It is not beneficial to you whatsoever. Especially if this thing that you're doing for someone is hurting you and it feels suffocating. You're not meant to suffocate yourself for others. So let that person go, because first off, if that person is sitting up here and doing that type of shit in the first place, they're just not meant to be. Like, let's just be real. Let's be honest with ourselves. If they're acting like that in the first place, they're just not meant to be. So let it go. If you can't let it go, it's time to focus on yourself. It's time to focus on your journey ahead and work on your creation, because you guys are talented, whether it be spiritually, physically. There's just a lot of talent in your blood and a lot of potential at this current point in time. Okay. Especially when it comes down to knowledge, there's a lot of knowledge that's coming in as well this month, and a lot of new things will be learned. It's a great time to pick up a new book. So that's what I'm feeling. Let's continue this reading. All right. I'm sorry for the glare, because I know there's a glare on the cards. I need a light stand, and I don't have a light stand, and the light stand that I had for the light was broken because it is not my light. Like, this is my parents' light that I use, that I have stolen. I've been using it. So therefore, I have to deal with it. And so therefore, it doesn't have a stand. And I'm sorry that there's a glare. So just listen to the messages. Listen. It could also be that you need to listen to the messages that are coming in to you on just a day-to-day basis, because there is a lot. There's a lot. And there's messages within your third eye. There's things to be seen. There is opportunities that you will see that are calling to you, that you will not forget. And the path that you should go down opens up to you. It opens its doors to you. And do not be afraid to take the initiative towards that path. Some of you guys fear that you will not be protected, or you fear that you might be attacked if you do what you want to do, and that is not true, because you have a lot of protection around you, especially with this Mehen energy, okay? There's protection around you. And anyone's attempts to attack or skew you off your course will be corrected. It will never happen, okay? The universe will never allow that to happen, all right? The strength in your soul is too strong. Once you go towards doing what you are supposed to be doing, once you go towards the path that is calling to you this month, your fears about people throwing you off course or people trying to sabotage will cease. Because I feel like you're thinking this way. Some of you guys, not all of you. I feel like you guys may be thinking this way out of, I guess, a mindset where it's like, well, if I do what I want to do, then everyone will be upset and someone will try to sabotage me. You're just scared to do what you want to do. You're scared because you've never served yourself in your life, for some of you guys. So therefore, take this time to serve yourself, okay? Because the projects that you have going on, they're very important game changers. Also, there's a lot of passionate energy this month, okay? Especially with Sobek. I already said with KHNUM, all right? There was passionate, intense energy, but it's also kind of like putting power towards your goals, putting power towards yourself, empowering yourself to do what is calling to you. It's a war energy. Sobek has a war energy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, how do I say this? I guess it's just kind of like you need to put your warlord energy, your intense, passionate energy, your conquering energy towards your goals and your dreams. Whatever is coming to your mind that is calling to you is for a reason. And so therefore, be passionate about it. Never stop for anyone. Never feel like you have to stop for anyone, because there is so much protection around what it is that you're doing. Especially if you feel called to speak your truth or say something, there's a lot of protection in your energy space and field that will allow you to speak your mind, because your words are important and your voice is important as well. That goes for any activists out there as well. I'm also getting judgment energy from Mayats. All right. There's judgment. So kind of like the judgment card. A calling. It's kind of reminiscent of pile number 1 a little bit. But pile number 1's is a little bit, leaning towards chaos magic. For you guys, I feel like it's just a calling in regards to your gifts, in regards to your dreams, and I feel like it's more of a physical, earthly call. It does have a lot to do spiritually, all right? Because it is a part of your purpose, but a lot of this stuff is physical, it's spiritual, or physical, spiritual. It's physical. It's physical. It's more physical than anything. Sometimes I get a little bit too lost in the sauce, and I will stutter and mess up. I am sorry. I'm sorry for any of this stuttering that I have. I talk really fast, but I just feel like I need to get the messages out my system. There's just so much that's coming in. So therefore I'll be like stuttering and be like, oh, so I'm like, sorry. I wonder like the depth of Mayet's message, because I feel like there's more to Mayet's message. I did just get this deck, so therefore I don't really know all the meanings. I don't know where I put the book. So yeah, I'm gonna free ball it. I feel like there's more to Mayet's message. I'm just not seeing them. I feel like it's also kind of like an elevation of some sort. A transformation. I feel like this elevation could also be with where you are located. It could actually be a physical elevation, like going up to the mountains. I felt like when I was in the mountains at the beginning of like 2024, there was so much more spiritual knowledge that I was able to see. Like, I was more aligned with my spirits. It was partially because I was going through a spiritual awakening, but it was also because the elevation in the mountains. I was really deep into the nature that was around me. So I felt like I could just be connected with the messages more. Like, there was just an intense connection with the spirits. So some of you guys need to move to the mountains because it would be beneficial. And there's a lot of quietness. I know with the mountains that I was at, the community that I was in was very small. Like, there wasn't a lot of people. There was, but everyone was very quiet and reserved. Yeah, everyone was very quiet and reserved. We were also very close to the animals, bears in particular. So it could also just be about like ferocity, tapping into that feral energy within to conquer your dreams. There is just a massive emphasis on war energy. Being unafraid to follow your own heart. And being unafraid to conquer your goals. But yeah, with the mountains, thought some of you guys need to visit the mountains as well, because you could be more deeply connected and aligned with your spiritual team in the nature of the mountains, in the trees, in the greenery. It also causes you to reflect. It causes you to reflect and connect with even yourself at a deeper core level. Because the aloneness, the quietness that it brings. I spell on this card, that's disgusting. Right, it just connects you with that type of energy. So that was for some of you. But could also be like, maybe the elevation that I'm also seeing with like the mountains is also just the shape of a pyramid. I am using an Egyptian oracle deck. So for some, it's a connection with certain Egyptian deities and gods and also ancestors that could be beneficial to this physical transformation. 333, I see. It's also using fire as an intense tool in the creation of things and connecting with fire, using heat. I feel like when you guys, okay, there's two messages. I feel like when some of you guys are in warmer climates, you can hear your messages from your spirit guides better. It is also that you can create better with heat, with fire, being connected to that type of energy. Lighting candles can help you create. Also, for like a small percentage of you, when you're in heat, like when you use your sexual magic, that is just a powerful way to connect with your soul, connect with creation energy and gain ideas. Okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to like, I guess like the final messages, which is like the further advice from your spirit guides. So we have Starseed, Blue Avians, and Alchemy. I've said it 50,000 times, this is a time of creation. Also, this whole entire project or endeavors that you are choosing to tackle this month can awaken you to some form of magic. A lot of you guys need to check out pile number 1 if you haven't, because pile number 1 is very intense about magic, and that is for some of you guys. I don't feel like it's for all of you guys, but a lot of you guys that are watching this should connect with that. With the whole entire elevation thing, we see mysticism, So it's like, I do feel like I say like a lot. I do feel like I feel like I just feel like I'm sorry. I feel like I don't know how to express it. There's just maybe it's also kind of like the elevation aspect is like, oh, I did mention that. It's the gods, the spirits. There's some spirits that you guys have yet to talk to. And this month will be a great time to connect with some deity friends, okay? Especially winged deities, okay? So any deities that have wings might be reaching out to you. Okay, we also see like, oops. We also see Stolas, alright? So therefore, like, he could also be reaching out. I feel like he kind of has an intense energy in this reading as well. But there's just a time, it's a time to connect with the beings around you because these beings can help you with, your projects. So, but it's a time to connect with yourself, reflect on who you are and chase only your dreams and learn new things. Okay, it's also about learning new things, learning new gifts. Well, not learning new gifts. It's kind of like tapping into gifts that you've already had, which for some of you guys could be seen as learning. I'm sorry, like I'm trying to not stutter. It can be seen as learning, but it's tapping into a gift that you had in a past life. So, like playing guitar, painting, creative gifts mainly. Okay, it's when I see this Haunter like chakra map or this like little like tapestry, is that what we call it? I think of watercolors because this is how a lot of traditional watercolor palettes look. So for some of you guys, you need to try out watercolors this month. Also, watercolors requires a flow of energy. It requires letting things flow. The paint spreads throughout the paper and it's less controllable than acrylic, than oil, and other mediums of paint. So it could also be an energy of like allowing ideas to come in, allowing transformation to take place, and allowing yourself freedom to be who you want to be. And there's just a lot of self-discovery that comes with this elevation, whether that be magic, whether that be knowledge, whether that just be gifts that you have that have been lying dormant from other past lives. There's a lot of discovery, creation, and conquering energy this month. So I feel that is it for this message. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to purchase me a deck, and I will enjoy using it in one of these readings here. The more the merrier. All right. And I will see you very soon. Take care and goodbye. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your message. What is going on this month? Okay. So your overall energy is ANPU, transformation, and abyss. So, from my experience working with AMPU, he is very keen on spiritual transformation, usually in regards to magic. At least that was my experience with him. For the most part, I feel like for the most part, he is just a strong advocate for all types of magic. But in this case, he comes to you today to express a change is on the horizon. And this month, there's going to be a lot of transformation. There's going to be a lot of change. And a lot of you guys might resonate with pile number 1, so feel free to check that out. If, you feel called to, if you feel really called to, because pile number 1 is has a lot to do about magic and transformation, but I feel like this Anubis energy is intertwined with the inevitable. You will inevitably have to change. You have no other choice. Because the path has led you to this point where either you can continue to go down the path that you are currently going. I'm sorry if you're like hearing any thumping or like shaking. It's like 2 p.m. and all of my siblings are deciding to cause chaos. So I can't help that, moving chronicles coming soon. But anyways, let me stop and get back to the message. You have a choice. Where either you can continue to be the person of the past, you can continue to suffocate yourself down the path that you've been going down all along, or you can take this new path that's calling to you, a path that will bring you transformation. But with this new path, there's going to be some solitude, some isolation on Earth. So there's only 2 ways to go. And at this point, you guys already know where you're going to have to go, because nothing is going to change until you go down the path that is meant to be. Nothing. You're just going to continue stagnating and going in circles and circles and circles. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Sorry if I start stuttering during this reading. I have a tendency to do that. It's because I like to get out my messages really fast, because there's just so much that's like on my mind with the message. So I start talking really fast, and in turn I start stuttering just teens. So if I do that, I apologize and just bear with it. I'm also sorry for the glare. Like, I need to get like a new light, because this light doesn't have a stand anymore, and that's why there's a glare. Okay, so Luna Gothmonis, you see transformation, shedding of your old skin and becoming someone new. See, this path is shrouded in tall trees. It is shrouded in the dark. It is in dark because you are not meant to see everything that is going to happen when you travel down the path this month, but it is also in regards to your darkness, in regards to your shadow, seeing some of the things that you have been hiding from, especially with this whole turn Nyx energy. Anubis already has some type of dark shadow energy within himself and within his demeanor, because he is one of the gods of the underworld and death. But I feel like that whole entire dark energy really is confirmed with Nyx. And this path that you're going down is a path that uses and utilizes the darkness for transformation. So, Hecate, crossroads, path. It is also that in this darkness you will gain a key of some sort that will answer questions that you had previously had. Or this key could also be, it could also unlock power within. You need to go down this path without fear. And use that like Brigitte energy where it's like you're dauntless. Where nothing is scary. That you aren't afraid of anything. A lot of people are fearful of the darkness because they don't understand the darkness. They don't know what is within the darkness. But the only way to find out what's within the darkness is to go down the path. And this darkness can be in a lot of... I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, the darkness is not just, like, what you think it is. Like, you might think that I'm talking about, like, oh, it's time to become a Satanist. Okay, for some of you guys, maybe that's true. But it's also kind of like, what is speaking to you within your shadow self? What is your shadow self asking you to do that you continue to ignore? It could just be healing for some. For some of you guys, like, you guys are afraid to be alone, so you'll put yourself in relationships that aren't meant to be. That's for some of you guys. You're afraid to be alone, so you will endure relationships that just are not meant to be. And your shadow is asking you to take that moment, take that leap of faith, and just be alone. Because you will suffer if you continue to rely on people. That's for some. But it's just kind of like, the darkness is just really your shadow self. What you deeply want in your soul. It could just be following your dreams that you've been afraid to follow because, God tells you this. He's like, no, you can't do this. But it's like, in actuality, you can do whatever is calling to you. Because I believe as humans on this earth, we are all creators and we all should self-govern. Those are my beliefs that I discovered within my darkness. But a lot of you guys maybe need to discover those beliefs as well. Not for all, because I don't try to necessarily force beliefs onto people, because I know how it feels, but for some, you should hear that. You should understand that maybe the shadow that is within is telling you that you need to be alone and away from people who make you feel suffocated, and ideologies, beliefs, and deities that also make you feel that way. Whether that be God or any other deities, it really doesn't matter. Remove yourself from people who make you feel suffocated, because that's something that your shadow wants. And once you step onto this path, a spark of fire, a flame, will reignite within you. And it will bring a renewal and energy and healing. Healing that you've been needing. For some of you guys, I just sense that there's like a coven that is coming. They're coming like, let me quit saying that. They are coming towards you. They're riding on their horses in the horizon. And I'm seeing that you guys are viewing this coven. And it's kind of like you're afraid, but curious at the same time. It's like part of you just wants to be a part of this coven and feel the freedom that they have, the wild energy that they possess within their magic. But another part of you is like, well, if I want to join this coven, if I want to practice their magic, I will have to leave behind what's comfortable, what has been my normal. And you have to do that. You have to do that to grow. This coven could be representative. It could be an actual coven of witches, that sisters or brothers are speaking to you. But it could also just be representative of the magic that you want to practice and the beliefs that you want to have. It could be a community of people that you see. I know that when I first, started really resonating with satanic beliefs, I would say I would be around left-hand path communities, especially when I was in middle school. I loved macabre art. I loved, ink art. Okay, this is before AI existed. Okay, so this was purely the talent of other people. Okay, I love looking at other people's art, especially like Micah Ulrich and artists like that on Instagram. And within their community, in their space, there was a lot of Satanists. And I didn't have any adverse feelings towards them because I genuinely liked the art that they were sharing, and no one was really harming each other with their beliefs. But as I grew older, that calling began, where it's like, what if this is something that I like? What if this is something that is meant to be for me? Especially in recent times, because a lot of people might think that I've been on the left-hand path for a long time. This is very recent. I'm just gonna be honest. Let me be a little bit vulnerable. A lot of this stuff is very recent because I was under a type of spiritual, I don't want to say, to the general public, I guess you could say that I was kind of indoctrinated into the only way I could put it is I can only say it in like a really ugly light, but I guess what some people would say like a cult or whatever. I obviously don't like to necessarily say that, but to the outside world, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of what it was. But that's what I'm saying. My left hand path exploration was fairly recent because I was just deeply like locked into that whole entire like doctrine. And it felt so scary to leave because the dangers that came with that. And listen, I had a whole witch trial. Like, I was accused of all types of craziness. These mofos were calling me a Satanist before I even like came to terms with that. You know what I mean? So I just feel like for some of you guys, you know, it's scary because you don't want to leave the people that you know behind. You don't want to be alone in this scary journey, especially, you know, if some of you guys relate to me. It's like you've been under these spiritual doctrines for so long and it just doesn't feel right to like travel into the darkness. It's just really weird. It's very scary. But I feel like you need to do this because this is very beneficial to your transformation and you need to see what's in the dark. You need to tend to your shadow self. And AMPU can guide you. If not him, then it's just like, I feel like you need to allow yourself to guide the way because your soul knows where to go. All right. Shall we expand this message? All right. We have Horus. We have Hathor. And we have Set. It's kind of like you guys don't choose to go down this path because it's like you will be accused of things that aren't true, or people will look at you in a bad light. It's kind of like what I just explained with my whole entire like spiritual story. I had a whole entire witch trial. Okay, like I had like moments of public embarrassment. Like there was a lot of, you know, shit that I went through when it came down to my spiritual transformation that honestly it was very scary in the moment, but it was so worth it. And I feel like for you guys, like you don't want to be painted as that set figure in your household. Or not even in your household, it could just be like generally speaking with friendships with anybody. You don't want to be painted as that set figure. You know what I mean? You don't want people to accuse you of things that you aren't. You don't want people to look at you in a bad light. But I feel like you guys need to embody that energy. Sometimes you need to embody that dark energy because that dark energy can help you grow and transform. It's interesting how we have Horus and Set here. It's kind of like opposite sides. Maybe it's kind of like you try so hard to be good. You try so hard to play by the rules. But deep down your soul is calling you to something else, okay? You try to keep that equilibrium. Equilibrium. Let me quit playing. You try to keep that balance. You try to keep that stability in your environment because you don't want things to go crazy. You don't want things to go south. South. This message is really getting me. You don't want things to go south. All right. So you just kind of like, you know, hide yourself. You make yourself small and you don't dare to change. But maybe you need to take that dare. Maybe you need to become the Set in your community because that is the only way that you'll experience freedom and true transformation. It's interesting how we also have Anubis and Set here. It is just kind of like, it could just be representative also of a denial of some sort, kind of like a hiding your shadow self, like pushing your shadow self away every single time they try to come forth. And it's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. Because there's also some divinity in Set energy. I understand that a lot of people who follow like the Egyptian pantheon and resonate with Kemetic beliefs paint Set as a devil figure. But we have to understand that we need the darkness to grow, to transform. And we need our polar opposites, and your polar opposite is calling to you. Because maybe it's not even your polar opposite, it's just the true you. The true you is calling you to unmask and stop playing so safe, okay? Especially because this path is going to bring a lot of knowledge. It's going to bring a lot of growth, and it's also going to make you feel relieved. Some of you need to take a deep breath because you're holding your breath. But it's going to bring relief. It's going to bring happiness when you're finally tapping in to your true self. When you're not allowing yourself to be controlled by others. When you're listening and following the spiritual doctrines that you resonate with, or creating doctrines of your own. This month will be a time to allow this transformation to happen, to go down this path, unafraid. Because at the end of this path, there's fruits, there's growth, there's prosperity, and there's just genuine joy. There's a lot of joy that comes with being yourself, with being the person that's within, and not playing like a character for others. So I guess we should just wrap up this message with like the final thoughts from your spiritual team. Okay, we just have an emphasis on solitude, but solitude brings peace. Being alone brings peace. It brings happiness because then you don't have to appease others. And sometimes you need to be alone to figure out you need to be alone so you can open that space for the people that are actually meant to be. A lot of you guys, like I said, towards the beginning of the reading, some of you guys like to be friends or get into relationships with people who aren't meant to be because you're afraid to be alone. But once you just take that time to be alone, you'll find true, genuine peace. Number one, you'll find yourself. Number two, you'll open up room for people who are meant to be, your real soulmates. And number three, you'll find truth. You'll find reflection. You'll feel relaxed because you don't have to owe anyone anything. And you won't always be in conflict or be worrying about others. And it's also an emphasis on independence. Not needing other people to fulfill your needs and to go down this path. You're protected. This path brings harmony. It finally brings peace. It finally brings everything all together. And there's been so many signs I've been calling to you about this path, and it's time to answer that. There's messages that are taped on the trees, they're carved into the trees on this path. And the only way to get these messages is to go down it. So yeah, you are protected. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. It is all going to be okay. So accept the darkness, accept the shadow, accept AMMUT as a spiritual guide if you wish. And I feel that is it for the reading. If you enjoyed this reading, feel free to subscribe. Purchase me a deck if you will, if you want to see other cards. But if not, that is completely fine. I will see you very soon. Take care and goodbye.